Spartans! AROO! G'day Spartans. This is Peter here, coming at you for a test video today to try to do a test of a potential podcast that I'm playing with the idea of. I'm thinking about calling it the Spirit of Spartan podcast. Everyday Spartans, interviews with everyday Spartans. And I'm doing this test. This is 00 alpha test episode. Be me a bit of a rambling to see how well my new iPhone 11 works on this tripod that I'm using, and I have interruptions such as the car and my watch dinging me and all those other things. Plus, I'm not really sure what I want to say in my pilot episode or the test ones that I'll do before the pilot, and I'm kicking rocks around and all this. So anyway, I'll probably upload this to YouTube, but not publicly. So share it with a few friends to give me some feedback. Definitely won't be loading it up to Facebook anytime soon because, yeah, it's just me rambling. So here I am, beautiful Woodfordia site, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what my timer on my Apple Watch just binged me on. Here are my bright trifecta t-shirt from last year, not even this year. It said I conquered Mount Mystic, and of course with my patch hat on, my boonie patch hat on, which with my patch that I'm calling my Spirit of Spartan patch. So if I give you one of these, I'm passing on the spirit to you, either this year or next year. Yeah, this is actually a Spartak ADF patch, they call it, from Spartak company in WA, and it's basically symbolising the dark green line for ADF veterans, Australian Defence Force veterans, of which I am one from 5 years in the army, and only just recently started using that title of veteran, and also using the idea of being comfortable with being part of the veteran community. So that's a whole nother story. So why the Spirit of Spartan podcast? Well, some of you may know who watch this test, I should say, not pilot, that I was down in Bright just last month, not even a month ago yet, and quite surprisingly got awarded the Spirit of Spartan award by Spartan Race Australia, and all of the key players got the awarded to me by Paul, the race director, Mel, the street team director, and kids race manager and key head official. She was also there on stage, as was Richard Williams, one of the lead cryptayer for the Spartan Hurricane Heat, as well as all-round Spartan guru. They were there to give me the awards, but the award, of course, was given to me by Spartan Race Australia on behalf of everyone who voted for me and nominated me in the awards process. So big shout out to you if you're watching this video and you nominated me for the Spirit of Spartan award. I feel quite humbled by that, and quite very humbled, and I'm jokingly referring to myself within the Spartan community in Australia and on my own social media posts as the hashtag the Spirit, but I don't actually really know if I am the Spirit of Spartan or not. Obviously people think I am. That's very kind, but yeah, it did make me raise the question in my own head: what is it to me? What is it to be the Spirit? What is it to be the Spirit of Spartan? What is it to be Spartan? And yeah, why Spartan? That question was put out recently on their social media posts, and I think they're the key questions that I would like to do a podcast about with everyday Spartans, not elite per se, or key figures, or even key influencers, or even, you know, stars, so to speak, of the OCR world or that sort of thing, but more people, everyday people like me who have taken up Spartan within the last year, last 2 years, last 3 years. For me, it's now been 4 years now since my first obstacle course race, which actually wasn't a Spartan. That's a whole nother story. And yeah, I guess I want to try to encourage as many people involved to get involved in the Spartan way of life and the Spartan race events as a great sport and as a great activity to do, whatever your age, whether you're in the first whether you're a child whether you're a kid doing the kids races, or whether you're, you know, in the first levels of the young age groups all the way up to the old age groups of 65 plus, if you want to compete in the age groups, or you just want to run open and be involved in everything as well. Any and all of that, I think, is just great activity to do. Yeah, definitely rambling now. What else can I mention whilst I'm testing out this technology? So it looks like I'm going to get a feature in the Veteran Sport Australia newsletter this month for December, as well as hopefully on their website with my Spirit of Spartan award picture and a couple of other pictures. So that'll be fantastic to be able to give Spartan and Spartan Race Australia a plug through the Veteran Sport Australia newsletter and website. Hopefully getting even more veterans involved in Spartan. It's a funny thing, I've said to a few people that I think there's quite a few veterans that would really, really love to be involved in obstacle course races, and if they're not physically unable to, or physically disabled, which even that is not really a barrier, because I know there's many people who do Spartan events who have some sort of physical disability, such as my good mate Andy, who I do the Hurricane Heats with. In fact, Andy, I'll send you this link to this video to review and give me some thoughts. But yeah, there's a lot of veterans who I think would really find a lot of good meaning and purpose and fun and enjoyment through doing obstacle course races and Spartan races particularly. But I think at the same time, just like myself, there's a little bit of resentment towards, not resentment, maybe more you know, attitude towards obstacle course races in general, and particularly Spartan. And I think that comes from the well, you know, I used to get paid to do obstacle course races when I was in the army, and I used to get paid to do bayonet assault courses and all these other things, which is true, but it's quite, even though there is some military influences to obstacle course races, it is quite a different sport altogether. And yet at the same time, it still uses a lot of your skills that you've learned in the army or other military services. And I think particularly when you go beyond the race level, so beyond the Spartan races, the 3 types of races and the ultra, then you actually get to a point where you start doing the Hurricane Heats and other sort of team-based endurance events, and they are very, very, very similar to military activities, and yet they're not military activities, and they're not run particularly exclusively by military people, and they're run in a way that actually develops skills, camaraderie, courage, community. Yeah, and I think they once veterans particularly get involved in those and give them a go, they find them really, really fun, really, really meaningful, and a good way to be part of a team and be even a leader within that context. Yeah, and I think there's just a really good opportunity for veterans to be involved in that as well. So hopefully veterans can get involved in that and can see my story, my profile through Veteran Sport Australia this month, and get some encouragement to be involved with Spartan activities in 2020. I was going to write a bit of a script for this, but I haven't actually gotten around to writing the script yet. So maybe I might put some pen to paper, so to speak, or write some notes in my iPhone that I'm filming this on, in order to figure out what to say in pilot episode, trial episode 00 Bravo. And yeah, what else can I say? Probably should talk about why Spartan for myself, how many events I've done, what are the most challenging things I find, what the most interesting things I find, what's the most beautiful place that I've done an event in? That's always a good one. What else can I probably mention? Maybe a bit of like why it's good to do active and healthy things in the great outdoors, such as the place that I'm at now. Woodfordia, coincidentally enough, is actually the site for the Queensland, or Southeast Queensland I should say, based Tough Mudder event for the last couple of years. And even though I come here for this is my 3rd year in a row here at the end of the year for the Woodford Folk Festival, I've never actually been for Tough Mudder. I've never actually done a Tough Mudder, and not that I have anything particularly against Tough Mudder per se. It hasn't worked out for me all those years. But I think I'm pretty sure next year I'm going to give it a go, particularly if there's a veterans team involved in Tough Mudder next year. Maybe mates of mates or young veterans again, one of those two, might get involved and do a Tough Mudder team, and I'll come along and do it here at the beautiful Woodfordia site, which is quite amazing, beautiful place to be at. I might wrap that up here because it's probably about 10 minutes or so, and anyone who I send this to and watches it on YouTube sometime in the next week or so, I'm going to be playing around with technology as well as formats and things to think about. So if you watch this video and think that a podcast created by me, Peter, the spirit of Spartan, for 2019 and into 2020 until they award that award again to someone else next year, if you think that'll be a good podcast to watch on YouTube as well as listen to, hopefully via Apple Podcasts and Spotify, I'm keen to sort of emulate somewhat the Spartan Up podcasts and what they do in terms of interviews with people. But my take, I think what I really would like to do is to do interviews with everyday Spartans, both men and women, who have taken part in Spartan race events, not just races but hurricane heats or one or the other, throughout Australia and the world, and particularly ones that I come across at other events. So I guess part of my intention is to try to get a cohort, what would you call it? A merry band of Spartans. I don't even know what the collective of Spartans is. A Spartan, I have to look that up. Anyway, I want to try and aim for 300 interviews. As everyone knows, anything about Spartan history, or at least from the popular Spartan movies, 300 is the number that we're at the battle. I'm going to say the Battle of Thermopylae, but that might be wrong now, and I can't remember if that is right. But I'd studied ancient history even before the movie 300 came out, so I'm confused myself. But 300 is the number that we often talk about in Spartan world, Spartan race community world, as well as Spartan history. And so I'm thinking if I can make a podcast, interview 300 everyday Spartans and ask them particularly the central question of why Spartan, then that will make a interesting and informative and hopefully entertaining podcast to watch and listen. I don't know, it's sort of a bit of experiment. That's why I'm experimenting with this rambling one. If you watch this and see this all the way through, please send me a DM or a comment on the YouTube channel, my channel, or but no, probably just send me a DM via Insta or via text-based messages. SMS is still good, or via Messenger on Facebook, whatever. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think I should do. I really do want to be sort of creatively driven by the Spartan community, and also obviously I'm looking for 300 people to interview. So I already have about 50 in mind that I definitely want to try to ask, and they may or may not be comfortable talking on camera. And the idea, of course, is that I want to try to do them around the events that I do in 2020. So if I go to Stadion event in Melbourne next year is the first one, or over on in New South Wales, either of those, then hopefully I can at least do 20 minute 10, 20 or 30 minute interviews in the one weekend by grabbing people at the different times when they're available, both at the festival, the race and that sort of thing, or the day before or the day after. But yeah, if I send this to you and you watch this, or you get sent this by someone else and you have any feedback at all for me about how I should present, what I should do, what I should wear, who I should talk to, anything, any ideas at all for this idea of creating a podcast, which by the way is entirely my own idea and unofficial from Spartan Race Australia and Spartan brand, but is something that I'm keen to do as a, I guess, awarded Spirit of Spartan, the Spirit, hashtag the Spirit this year, and see how it goes. I'm doing this entirely as well for free. Something that I want to do just for the love of it, to try to help encourage even more people involved into the sport and the lifestyle. So yeah, please, any feedback, and thank you for watching so far. Hopefully this is the first of many episodes to come. Spartans, AROO!